My friends, before you do anything else today, and before you make your coffee, before you check the mail, before you do a single other thing, I need you to sit down and watch this video all the way through. Because what I'm about to share with you this April could be the most important Social Security update you have heard in years, maybe in your entire life. I'm not saying that to get your attention. I'm saying that because it's the truth and you deserve to hear it straight from someone who actually cares about what happens to you and your family. I know how hard it is. I know many of you are sitting at your kitchen table right now, stretching that monthly check as far as it will go. You're watching every dollar, wondering if the money is going to last until the end of the month, worrying about your prescriptions, your rent, your groceries, all while the cost of everything around you just keeps going up. And you've been waiting for the government to step up and actually do something that puts real money back in your pocket. Well, my friends, that wait may finally be over. Because in April 2026, something truly historic has just been confirmed. And I promise you, by the time this video is done, you are going to understand exactly what it means for your monthly check, your benefits, and your financial future. So stay with me. Let's go through this together. The biggest COLA adjustment in decades. Here's what's actually happening. Let's start with the headline that has the entire Social Security community buzzing right now. The Social Security Administration, working in alignment with updated inflation data and congressional pressure, has confirmed that a significant benefit adjustment is being applied to checks going out in April 2026 and beyond. Now, you already received your standard 2.5% cost of living adjustment back in January. That was the official COLA for 2026, and most of you saw that reflected in your January payment. But here's what a lot of people don't know, and what the mainstream news isn't talking about enough. There are additional policy-level adjustments being layered on top of that COLA that are affecting specific groups of recipients in ways that can genuinely add up to real money. And when you combine these changes together, the COLA, the legislative updates, the threshold adjustments, and the new payment processing timelines, some beneficiaries are looking at increases that feel historic. This isn't one big check falling from the sky. It's a combination of changes that, when you understand all of them, adds up to something that absolutely deserves the word biggest. What the 2.5% COLA actually means in dollar terms for you. I want to make this real for you because percentages on paper don't pay your electric bill. So let's talk actual dollars. If you were receiving the average Social Security retirement benefit, which as of late 2025 was sitting right around $1,976 per month, then that 2.5% COLA means you're now getting roughly $49 to $50 more per month. That's about $600 more per year just from the COLA alone. Now, I know some of you are thinking, that's not enough. And you're right. It's not enough to keep up with what groceries and rent are actually doing to your budget, but that's just the starting point. Let me show you where it goes from there. For SSI recipients, those of you receiving supplemental security income, the maximum federal benefit rate for an individual in 2026 is now $967 per month. And for couples, it has risen to $1,250 per month. If you weren't aware of those numbers, write them down, because if you're not receiving the maximum and you're living on very limited income, you may be eligible for a review and an increase. We'll come back to that in a moment. For SSDI recipients, those of you receiving Social Security disability insurance, your increases are calculated the same way as retirement benefits, based on your earnings record. So if you were receiving $1,500 a month on SSDI, your April check should reflect that 2.5% adjustment and put you closer to $1,137 or $1,538. Every dollar matters, and I want you to know exactly what to look for when your payment hits. The Social Security Fairness Act, this one is a game changer. Now, here is where things get really exciting, and I need you to pay close attention because this may directly affect you or someone you love. In late 2024, Congress passed the Social Security Fairness Act, and the impact of that law is still rolling out in 2026 in a big way. Here's what that law does. It eliminates two provisions that have been reducing Social Security benefits for certain workers for decades. Those two provisions were called the Windfall Elimination Provision, or WEP, and the Government Pension Offset, or GPO. If you ever worked as a teacher, a firefighter, a police officer, a federal employee, or in any government job that had its own pension system instead of paying into Social Security, then WEP or GPO may have been quietly cutting your Social Security check for years, and you may not have even known it was happening. These provisions affected roughly 3 million Americans, and the elimination of these rules means that those 3 million people are now entitled to higher benefits. And in many cases, they are owed back pay going all the way back to January 2024 when the law took effect. Think about what that means. If you were losing $400 a month because of WEP and you've been losing that for 2 years, you could be owed close to $10,000 in back payments. The Social Security Administration has been processing these cases, but it is taking time. If you believe you were affected by WEP or GPO and you haven't seen your benefit increase yet or received any back pay, you need to contact the SSA directly or visit your local Social Security office because that money may already be waiting for you. VA benefits. Big updates for our veterans. Now let's talk about our veterans because you deserve a section all your own. If you are receiving VA disability compensation, VA pension, or survivor's benefits through the Department of Veterans Affairs, your payments were also adjusted at the start of 2026 to reflect the same 2.5% COLA that applied to Social Security. For a veteran receiving a 100% disability rating, which in 2025 was roughly $3,737 per month for a single veteran, that 2.5% increase brings the monthly payment up to approximately $3,131 per month. That's nearly $100 more every single month, which over a year adds up to almost $1,200. And here's something important that many veterans miss. If you are receiving both VA disability compensation and Social Security benefits, you may be able to collect both without offset, especially if your VA compensation is classified as non-service connected pension. The rules around concurrent receipt are complex, and I always encourage veterans to speak with a VA-accredited claims agent or a veteran service organization like the DIAV, the VFW, or the American Legion. These folks can often find you money you didn't even know you were leaving on the table. Watch out for these benefit reductions. Don't get caught off guard. My friends, I would not be doing my job if I only told you the good news without warning you about what can reduce your check. So let's talk about that for a minute, because knowledge is protection. First, if you are on Medicare and your Part B premiums are being deducted from your Social Security check, and for most of you they are, the 2026 Part B premium is $185 per month. That's up from $174.70 in 2025. So even though your COLA gave you about $50 extra, Medicare is taking back roughly $10 of that. It's not a huge hit, but it's something you should account for in your budget. Second, if you went back to work while collecting Social Security before your full retirement age, or if you had a higher income year that the SSA is now catching up to, you could be subject to what's called an earnings test, or even a benefit offset. If you're under full retirement age and you earned more than the 2026 exempt amount, which is $22,320, the SSA withholds $1 in benefits for every $2 you earn above that limit. This is temporary. Those withheld benefits come back to you later, but it can cause a real cash flow problem in the short term, and I want you to be aware of it. Third, be careful about overpayment notices. The SSA has been sending out overpayment letters, and some of them can be frightening. If you receive a letter saying you were overpaid, do not panic and do not ignore it. You have the right to appeal, and you have the right to request a waiver if you feel the overpayment wasn't your fault and that repaying it would cause financial hardship. Many people just pay it without knowing they could fight it, and sometimes they win. Hidden benefits and credits you may be missing. Here's the part of the video I get the most excited about, because this is where real money gets found. There are benefits and credits that millions of seniors are eligible for right now and are simply not claiming. Let me walk you through a few of them. The Extra Help Program, also called the Low Income Subsidy, can save you up to $5,000 a year on Medicare prescription drug costs. If your monthly income is below roughly $1,870 as a single person or $2,530 as a couple, you may qualify and not even know it. Call 1-800-MEDICARE or visit your local Social Security office to apply. The Medicare savings programs can pay your Part B premium entirely. That's $185 per month, plus copayments and deductibles if your income and resources are low enough. That's over $2,200 a year just handed back to you. If you are age 70 and a half or older and you have not yet filed for Social Security, you may be eligible for delayed retirement credits that have been stacking up on your record. Every year you delay Social Security past your full retirement age, up to age 70, your benefit grows by about 8%. If you have other income and can afford to wait, that strategy can add hundreds of dollars permanently to your monthly check. And if you're married, or were married for at least 10 years, don't forget to look into spousal benefits and survivor benefits. A surviving spouse can receive up to 100% of their deceased partner's Social Security benefit if it's higher than their own. Many widows and widowers never claim this, and it can make an enormous difference. Tax implications. Know before you get surprised. Real quick, because I know taxes stress a lot of us out, let me give you a heads up. Up to 85% of your Social Security benefits can be taxable at the federal level if your combined income, that's your adjusted gross income, plus non-taxable interest plus half your Social Security, exceeds $34,000 for a single filer or $44,000 for a couple. This catches a lot of people off guard, especially if they have a pension or IRA withdrawals on top of Social Security. Talk to a tax professional or use the free VITA Tax Assistance Program, Volunteer Income Tax Assistance, which helps seniors file for free. The IRS also offers Form W-4V, which lets you voluntarily withhold federal taxes from your Social Security so you don't face a big bill in April. Your April 2026 payment schedule. When is your check coming? Let's close with something practical. Here is when your April 2026 payments are scheduled to arrive. If you were born between the 1st and 10th of the month, your Social Security payment arrives on Wednesday, April 9th. If you were born between the 11th and 20th, your payment arrives on Wednesday, April 16th. And if you were born between the 21st and 31st, your check arrives on Wednesday, April 23rd. SSI recipients typically receive their payment on the 1st of the month, which for April 2026 means Tuesday, April 1st. VA benefit payments for April should have landed on April 1st as well, since the 1st falls on a weekday. If your payment is late, the very first thing to do is check your bank account directly. Sometimes electronic deposits show up a day early or a day late, depending on your bank. If it's been more than 3 business days past your expected date, call the SSA at 1-800-772-1213. A final word from me to you. My friends, you have worked hard your entire life. You paid into this system for decades. You served your country, you raised your families, you built this nation with your hands and your hearts. You deserve every dollar that is owed to you, and you deserve to understand what is happening with your money. That is why I make these videos. Not to scare you, not to confuse you, but to sit down with you, just like this, and make sure that when the government makes changes, you are the first to know and the first to benefit. Please share this video with someone you love, a neighbor, a sibling, a friend from church, because this information could genuinely change their monthly income. And if you have questions, leave them in the comments below. I read every single one. Take care of yourself, take care of each other, and I will see you in the next video.